losing a lot of people because of the internet. And we have to do something. We have to go see Bill Gates and a lot of different people that really understand what's happening. We have to talk to them, maybe in certain areas, closing that internet up in some way. Somebody will say, oh, freedom of speech, freedom of speech. These are foolish people. We have a lot of foolish people. We have a lot of foolish people.
The second solution focuses on providing context to help people make their own decisions. I love that. That is such an Orwellian phrase. That is such an Orwellian way to put things. So they're going to provide context now to help you make your decision. And the context is going to come in the form of additional information or informational cues. So first off, they've decided to put little blurbs to let you know which governments own which news channels, which I think most people were pretty well aware of that to begin with. So that's going to be the first thing. But they're also going to, it says here, another information panel product launched last year aims to provide additional factual information from outside sources. Additional factual information. That sounds pretty legitimate, right? But then they go on to say the links are going to include credible sources such as Encyclopedia Britannica and Wikipedia. So Wikipedia now, according to Google, is an additional source that provides factual information. Okay, I'm going to get back to this in just a second, but let's talk about Wikipedia for a second. First of all, there's a guy, and I didn't know about this at all until just recently. This just came out in January. Meet the man behind a third of what's on Wikipedia. This guy named Stephen Pruitt has made 3 million edits to Wikipedia.
The Virginia native has made nearly 3 million edits on Wikipedia, written 35,000 original articles.
There's only 5.7 million English Wikipedia articles that exist, and he's edited 3 million of them. And he lives at home with his parents, and he sings opera, and he edits Wikipedia. To the point that
Time magazine named him one of the top 25 most influential people on the internet, alongside President Trump, J.K. Rowling, and Kim Kardashian West.
That's how influential this guy is that nobody knows about, who's editing a third of Wikipedia. So
even his day job is research, working in records and information at the U.S. Customs and Border Protection.
Do your colleagues at work know what you do?
Oh, yes.
What do they think of it?
Probably that I'm nuts.
that. Secondly, it came out last decade, and this was really big in the news back in 2007, 2008, that some of the major editors of Wikipedia are the CIA, the FBI, world governments and political parties, and major corporations.
When a tracing program developed at the Santa Fe Institute called Wikiscanner discovered that computers at CIA headquarters had been used to make edits to entries on the U.S. invasion of Iraq and the biographies of former CIA head William Colby and former presidents Ronald Reagan and Richard Nixon. An FBI computer had also been used to edit the entry on the U.S.'s Guantanamo Bay detention facility. Since then, the intelligence agencies have had to camouflage their edits or outsource them to third parties.
And it's pretty easy to do that as far as outsourcing to third parties. You just pay a guy and...
That's who's making edits to Wikipedia. People who have vested interests in tilting the information towards their point of view. And the Vatican. Oh, yeah. Also the Vatican. I forgot to mention. So it's to the point that there's even a page on Wikipedia called Conflict of Interest Editing. It says right here, you had everything from the CIA and FBI and Vatican to both the U.S. Democratic and Republican parties to Britain's Labour Party, Britain's Conservative Party, the Canadian government, United Nations, the U.S. Senate, the Department of Homeland Security, the Israeli government, ExxonMobil,
Walmart, Dow Chemical, Disney, Nestle, Pepsi, Sony, Fox News, CBS, the Washington Post.
I mean, it just goes on and on. These are the people that it's not just some person that's editing Wikipedia. It's the people who have a vested interest in swaying you to their point of view who are editing Wikipedia.
Yeah, well, Wikimedia, the nonprofit arm of
Which is about revenues of what is it?
Yeah, they make 75 million, I think was the last year revenue, and
that's all donations?
Donations, yeah. It used to be donations from users, now it's donations from users and large corporations and governments, like the government of Kazakhstan, and they just they'll take money from anybody.
Right. Well,
no surprise if you look at the list of companies that have donated to Wikipedia, they have pretty nice pages.
And as a matter of fact, Larry Sanger, co-founder of Wikipedia, left the organization specifically due to his concerns about the integrity of Wikipedia. And he said that in some fields and topics, there are groups who squat on articles and insist on making them reflect their own specific biases, and there's no credible mechanism to approve versions of articles. They're rewriting history on this Wikipedia, but this Wikipedia is going to be provided to you now as a additional factual information source.
Until it becomes much more obvious to the world at large that this is not a site that we should hold to have any credibility at all, then, I mean, it would be one thing if it was just considered a biased source, like just a sort of a trash rag, the bathroom wall of the internet, I like to call it. But it's not. It's considered this sort of holy oracle of truth, and it's really anything but.
And I just think it's really weird because back in the day when I was in grad school, I taught freshman English for a year, and students were not allowed to use Wikipedia as a primary source in any paper that they turned in to me or our department. So it's really bizarre to go from that to now.
What is this doing to our system of information?
Well, it's just, I mean, the fact that people take this at face value is really, I mean, it's degrading the meaning of just the concept of truth, for one thing, because it's become this consensus thing.
Wikipedia is also what's feeding all of these quote-unquote smart assistants. When people ask Alexa, for example, of Amazon questions, she's regurgitating to them what comes out of Wikipedia. So this is going to be used now as this official world source of information. And I don't even understand how anyone can take that seriously. And that's before you find out that some of the main editors of Wikipedia, besides Opera Guy over there, are intelligence agencies, governments, religious institutions like the Vatican, and major corporations, all of whom have a vested interest in crafting and presenting their version of events.